Hello and welcome to another exciting release notes video from Velt. We're on version 1.0.91 for the SDK and version 1.0.106 for the types library. So make sure to update. We have 5 amazing features we're going to announce today. So let's get started. Now the first feature is an API method to return the XPath of the DOM element where a comment was added. So how it works is we have a method called getElementRef by annotation ID. You can pass in an annotation ID, and then wherever that comment was added, we can give you the XPath that locates it exactly in the DOM tree. All right, let's move on to the next feature, which is called scroll to comments by annotation ID. And just like its name, you give it an annotation ID, and then you can just scroll to exactly where that comment was added on the page. If you're elsewhere, it'll scroll to it. If the comment doesn't exist on the page, then we won't scroll to it because we need that comment to exist in order to scroll to it. Now onwards to the next feature. Now this is a way to configure the styling of our live selection. And if you've forgotten what live selection is, if you enable it and then someone else is on the same page as you and they click on a form or input, we automatically draw a box around that input and we add a little presence bubble to indicate that someone's clicking on it. So what this feature does is if you want to edit the styling, for example, let's say you want to get rid of that border or you want to move the presence bubble from the right to the left, we allow you to configure that. And that's configured through a style object that you just pass to the data live selection config attributes. All right, on to the next feature. This is an event handler for click events on presence users. So we have our presence bubbles here. If you just click on it, now you can basically capture an event. You just pass it to the on presence user click event handler on the component, and then you can do whatever you want with this user object that comes out of the event. Here we're just logging. All right, and now we have the last feature of the day, and this is an option to disclude the current user from the list of presence users. We have API methods to give you a list of everyone who's online at the same time as you through presence. And if you want to disclude the current user because your logic doesn't need them, then you can add this property called self. If you set it to false, then the current user will just be excluded from that list and you don't have to add some logic. It's just already removed ahead of time. So this is just useful if you don't want to include the current user. And those have been all of the amazing features we've added to this week's release on the Velt SDK. Stay tuned for next week. We do this weekly, and goodbye.